even if you can't do something, for example, if I can't go to the gym, what can I do instead to make sure I'm still flexing that muscle, that mental muscle of keeping up with and staying consistent with some sort of habit, So fine, I can't go to the gym or I can't work out because let's say it's negative 30 degrees outside. Fine, you can still read. You can still read your book.
Welcome to Chumble's Habit Hero series, where I speak to people brave enough to start their habit adventures and let us in on their highs and lows. I'm Robin, and today we're joined by Alan. Alan shares some of his successes and challenges in working out more and staying productive while quarantining. We'll discuss how to navigate setbacks, how to work out your brain, and how ticking boxes helped Alan hit his goals. Enjoy a glimpse of Alan's story.
How did you get into habits? What got you interested in?
Right. So, personal development and that sort of area has always been something of interest to me. However, it was never something I took, as seriously as I would like. But what happened this year, I went through some personal changes in my life, and I kind of looked at, what do I want for myself? What do I want to achieve, in the future, in this upcoming next few months and years. And so I decided I want to get serious about my habits, especially with certain goals when it comes to fitness and diet, as well as just accruing more knowledge, with regard to my mindset. And so when Chumble presented itself, I thought this would be a great opportunity to work on those habits, really solidify them and make them an everyday part of my life. And thankfully that did end up happening.
Nice. So you mentioned that there's an aspect of fitness, an aspect of diet, as well as like accruing more knowledge. How do you feel that these aspects formed a challenge in the past?
So I think in the past, I didn't have, let's say, a system or certain tools at my disposal to help me to, to really work on those habits and make them more consistent. I think that was above all, that was the biggest issue that I had, was staying consistent. I would do something for, let's say, a few days or a week or two, let's say, and then I would stop. I would give up. For whatever reason, something came up, some sort of inconvenience that I allowed to become more than just a minor incident, and then affected my habit journey, completely. I would drop off and I wouldn't, be able to pick up where I left off in a way. So after a few weeks or however long, I would then have to muster up all that energy and motivation to get myself to do whatever it is I wanted to do, let's say, such as working on going to the gym. That takes so much more mental effort than staying consistent, and just doing that habit one day after another. And I've found that with my personal habit journey now through Chumble, that is most definitely the case, where just by being more consistent, let's say going to the gym, 4, 5, 6 times a week, that I don't have that sort of friction in my head with, trying to muster all that energy to go and do whatever thing I'm trying to do. It was almost not even there. So that proves that getting, on that consistent pattern really, really helps.
Yeah. No, I think that's amazing. I love that consistency that you're mentioning, and kind of how that big shift has happened for you. You weren't sharing how you feel, what has brought this shift about. What is it that changed for you in this process?
So what changed was, in all honesty, first off, having an accountability partner having someone who was there for me, my support system, who wanted to see me succeed. And by sharing my goals with her, I was able to have someone who, would push me and would want to, ask me, hey, have you done this, this, or this? So I think that was a very, very powerful tool that I have, as well as also honestly using this habit share app that you have in the program. Because even though it seems so simple, just checking off a box, every single day for, having read my book, having gone to the gym, having practiced piano, seeing that little check mark, in my mind, it makes me feel good. It says, hey, I achieved something today, even though it might be small, might not be such a big deal, but over the course of, weeks, months, all of that consistency builds up and results in actual changes, visible changes, which wouldn't happen without that consistency. So having those tools, I think, were incredibly, incredibly crucial to my own journey and helping change my behavior for the better.
Nice. No, I love that. Especially like those aspects that you mentioned right here, like that social support, having people keep you accountable and keeping you on track, as well as making sure that you gain the momentum by taking small steps. It can be said that it's amazing to see you progress and to have you make such big steps in that process of achieving that momentum and getting that accountability and stuff. What has been the biggest learning for you on your journey?
I'd say my biggest learning is that I do have what it takes to achieve my goals and to be consistent with my habits. Before I didn't have the proof to, give me that sense of validation and self-confidence that I can do this, I can be this person. In James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, he talks about every single action and decision you make. That is a vote for the type of person you want to become. And for me, I wasn't, because of the lack of consistency before, I wasn't making enough votes for, who I wanted to become. But with the help of, Chumble and this journey, the different tools that I used to help me along the way, I was able to cast enough votes and it became, second nature in a way. And it showed me that, in all honesty, if you put in the effort, concentrated effort and time, and instill a little bit of discipline and make sacrifices, that results can and will come and happen. It's just about making that decision. How badly do you want them at the end of the day?
Yeah. No, I love that. Especially that bit, as you said, like with casting the vote, becoming the person that you would like to become and actively working towards that. And I think that whole mindset is incredibly valuable in really becoming that person and really kind of changing your identity. I think that's amazing. And then, so in the beginning, you mentioned a lot of habits that you wanted to introduce in your exercise, in your diet, in terms of your learning. And you made all of the changes. What positive impact have these habits had on your life?
So I would say that, not to be too vain and filled with vanity, but actually seeing my physique improving, as well as, honestly, just like today, I was at the gym, I hit a new personal record on one of my movements. It felt so amazing. And honestly, that would not have come without all of the hard work and consistent effort that I've been putting in these last few months at the gym. That doesn't come without sacrifice and some discipline. And so that wouldn't have happened without just being on top of my game.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy, with those results. Same thing also with practicing on my piano with a certain piece that I'm currently trying to master. And by putting in just 15 minutes, a few times a week, I was able to break through, a certain measure that I found very difficult before that now I'm able to do. And I'm, making slow, but progress is being made, on that piece. That's what it takes at the end of the day. It's all about that consistent effort, every little, as much as you can, every day, every week.
Yeah. But love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's amazing. And you're mentioning a lot of the a lot of the physical improvements. Are there any aspects in terms of like your mindset or maybe like mentally that you feel that they had an impact on?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, the mental it might not be at the forefront, but because we don't see it, but that is what is driving everything else. So the result, the change that I saw was, let's say, the mental fortitude and resiliency to, in the face of certain setbacks, or whenever I'm in a situation, in a day that isn't necessarily going as planned, it's like, how can you be more creative and kind of make sure you still get what you need done. So it's almost like having a calloused mind. So when you're at the gym, you develop calluses on your hand because your skin isn't, it's kind of changing to be able to handle the weight. Same thing with our mind, that the more it is exposed to different sorts of challenges and experiences that aren't comfortable, it'll become more and more used to those types of situations so that in future you can better handle them. And so I think that on this journey, I have begun to develop that sort of calloused mind in certain scenarios when things aren't going exactly as planned. To wrap up my thoughts on all that, developing this calloused mind that I was referred to has really helped me, develop my mind mentally to prepare myself for future, challenges and opportunities that'll inevitably come my way. And by having the right mindset mentally, I'll have a much easier time, not as easy, but still have a much easier time to tackle those tasks and challenges.
Yeah, nice. So like you mentioned, of course, like all of these benefits that you got from it, but still, you admit that there's going to be some challenges on the road. Do you mind sharing some of the challenges that you're facing at the moment or expect to be facing in the near future?
Yes. So what comes to mind right away is, like I was talking about before, when things aren't perfect. So for example, when I am not home, when I'm not in my usual environment, how do I, what do I do in those situations, in those scenarios? So what's been happening for me that I still need to work on is, how do I keep up with my habits when I am, on vacation, for example? Still want to make sure I'm doing the things that are important to me. So it's just about, first off, will I make the time for it? And secondly, will I have the mental fortitude to do it regardless of, the circumstances? Okay, I don't have, let's say I don't have a gym, access available to me. Fine. So what if you just do a home workout, just body workout? Because as we actually had spoken about before, that even if you can't do something, for example, if I can't go to the gym, what can I do instead to make sure I'm still flexing that muscle, that mental muscle of keeping up with and staying consistent with some sort of habit, So fine, I can't go to the gym or I can't work out because let's say it's negative 30 degrees outside. Fine, you can still read. You can still read your book, that you still want to be doing, and that will still, be that habit that you're still trying to do and be consistent with it, which will keep you up with your habits.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I think it's amazing to see how the way you look at challenges is very much like almost automatically, okay, here's the challenge, but here is how I can deal with it. So automatically kind of going into that opportunity mode instead of kind of dwelling in this like challenge / problem, and just like kind of focusing on that. And I think that is, well, an amazing quality that you have developed, and that, as you said, is immensely valuable in some challenging times.
I must say, though, I'm still developing that habit, that skill, because when I got sick, for example, I did not have that mental fortitude or motivation to really do anything, even though granted, I was sick, but, to an extent, that's not a full excuse to just drop off with everything completely. So that is definitely still something I'm working on and would like to get better at, more disciplined with, for sure.
Yeah, no, and I think we will always continue to. There is no such thing as a finished product. There is no such thing as perfection when it comes to our personal growth. And in a sense, that is also the beauty of it. There's always things that we can grow in. There's always things that we can improve on. And yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing. Lovely. So to run things off, I would like to ask you one final question, and that is, what piece of advice would you give someone who is trying to introduce new habits?
Yes. So what I would advise is identify just 1 or 2 habits that you would like to work on or instill in your life, and get someone get your own accountability partner to help you to on your journey, especially at the beginning. You need that support, especially it might be hard to motivate yourself. And what I would highly recommend doing is either use that habit share app that is used in the Chumble program, or you don't even need to do that. You could get a piece of paper and pen and mark off every single day of the week, and each day that you've done whichever habit you wanted to do that day, make a check mark. Even you could even write down how you felt that day, that you can use to look back on and help you for the next day. Just that mental trick right there, I think, will be incredibly powerful and will help you to get that ball rolling, get that consistency going, because that is absolutely crucial. If you want to stick with your habit, is you want to just make slow, steady progress that'll build on itself as you keep doing it every single day, every week.
I don't think I could have said it better myself. What a very powerful way to end things. And would love to thank you for sharing your amazing story so openly. And I hope you have a beautiful day ahead, Alan.
Thank you so much, Robin. I really appreciate it. None of this would happen without your help. So please, thank you.
Thanks, Alan.